Hello, I'm going on with trying to debrief my weekly trip to Roaring Spring, and I guess I'll go in chronological order. There's going to be about four major things to deal with, I think. All right, after I left Mervin's wood shop, it's not far from there into Roaring Spring, and I got to Danny Kaye's Cafe and went in, parked and went in, and there sat Robert Krasnow. But his wife wasn't there. And I was surprised he was sitting there by himself. And I said, where's Lourdes? And he said, oh, you didn't get my email. And I hadn't. I'd left before it got there. And he said that she was going to stay at the bed and breakfast. She wanted to rest for the day, and she wasn't. It was going to be kind of rainy, and she wasn't too much into the farm stuff. So I was disappointed because it was fun going along with those two Brazilians and talking a lot of Brazilian, or Portuguese, but getting my Portuguese back. But it was going to be easier in a lot of ways like that. So we set off. I gave some things hurriedly to Sheena, who runs the place, and I didn't have time to explain. I just left them there. It was a gallon of raw milk and what she needed to make cottage cheese. She had a friend. She has a friend that likes cottage cheese, so I thought, well, I'll take her what she needs. She can make her own. But anyway, Bob and I set out, and we didn't go far. We got in the car and just drove down, just opposite past the Spring Dam Brewery and over to the parking lot, and we parked. And I wanted him to take a look at the mill site, the paper mill site that was being cleaned up, and have some time to talk about it. Well, it was kind of rainy and raw out. It wasn't pleasant. Well, it was getting warmer very fast yesterday, but we had to walk to the end of the parking lot and then go around a big pile of snow to get to the place that you could really see well what was going on down there at the mill site, and I one of the things I wanted to talk about what he thought of the cleanup, and I explained to him about what I thought about the possibility of the highest overshot water wheel in the United States being right there, and also that he had good questions and good thoughts and different from mine. I explained that the mill owner, present mill site owner, had said he would not be allowed to put another building where that building had been because of the stream, Halter Creek, that goes right through it. That site, it was built right over the site, and we talked, and I told him, going back, that I had this idea recently to see about cutting off, not ripping out, but cutting off all the brush that had grown up on that hillside, so that once all that brush, I'm talking about trees that are about maybe 15 feet high on that bank, controlling the bank wonderfully, really. But once they come into leaf, you won't be able to see any of that. And I have this idea of seeing if I can get Jeff Wendell's permission, he's the owner, to organize a voluntary group of people interested in Roaring Spring's future and all that, to clear that, not to clear it to the ground, but to pollard it, I guess you'd probably say, to trim those saplings off, so that when they come, I mean, it wouldn't kill the trees at all. It'd be good for them. But it would be a bunch of work because it's a pretty long site. But then there'd be this great view of the cleanup site as it's being cleaned up, and once he's done and he turns it over to a developer, then no doubt the developer will do something similar to that. But they can't do much because right between here's the parking lot. Here's all this brush I'm talking about. Here goes the train through, train track through with the train periodically, and then the mill site. So although he'll own this, it's not. It's hard to figure out what he can do. So anyway, I think it's a good idea, and I think he probably will trim that off eventually. But my idea is to do it sooner and see if we could get voluntary help from Roaring Spring as a gesture to, yes, you're going to do we're watching you for one thing. Roaring Spring is watching what's going on, and they have been to the extent that they could, but it's just been a horrible mess. But now it's cleaning up and it's looking nice, or it's not yet, but it's going to. And the town can go down there and watch that, almost like in the old days, looking at their trout swimming around in the spring dam, that they don't have there anymore. But they could periodically go there and see how it develops. I think it's a good idea. And anyway, I was explaining it to Robert, and he sort of understood and sort of didn't. I mean, he was thinking sort of in bigger terms, like landscaping and flowers and all that kind of stuff. I just meant to keep it open to sight. And, well, maybe another time I'll go on and explain in more detail what I have in mind there. But anyway, I had a chance to tell him that. So we head back to the car. And I'm explaining a little bit more about how there once was that huge DM Bear grist mill. He didn't know exactly what a grist mill was, which was interesting. But I explained about that, and that there was a water wheel beside it that as a kid I used to watch, and other kids as well would stand there and watch that water in the head race go along and then go over that wheel. I'd wanted as a minimum to try to get something like that restored, and I was talking about that. So I've said all that before. Well, we're about to leave, and a woman comes up and starts to talk to me. And I knew I'd seen her, but I couldn't remember immediately who that was. But then she explained. She is the one of the two editors of the Morrison's Cove Herald. See this? Morrison's Cove Herald. And she had been helping me. The time I'd seen her, she had helped me to try to pull that off, to have the Christmas carols and Messiah sing-along at the brewery at Christmas, which was, it succeeded in a way, but it was brutally cold. And it was, if you want to look on my channel, look at Miracle at the Spring Dam Brewery. Look, I could give you that site, just if you want to look back. She'd helped me do that. Well, she'd also just written an article about the cleanup and how it was going. She'd managed to interview, not Jeff Wendell, but he's got another man working with him now, and she was able to talk to him, and she took some pictures. And she overheard some of what I was saying as she was coming near, because she was like-minded. She couldn't get in a position where she could take a really good picture of the cleanup. She'd had to go around to another place and all that. But anyway, she comes up to me and she said, yeah, her article just was going in the paper today. It was so before the day was over, I bought Morrison's Cove Herald, and here's her article. Cleanup continues, and I have no doubt that she would help to the extent that she could in this effort to get the community, in a sense, to reach out to the mill site cleaner upper. And then well, after that, Robert and I then moved on. Bye for now.